I don't think there are good arguments against my position. I think the people that oppose my position are idiots. And so I don't think there is a rational argument against my position. This is an incredible thing. Naturally, people like to run gambling casinos where other people lose. And the people who invented this crypto crapo, which is my name for it, and sometimes I call it crypto crapo, and sometimes I call it, well, crypto shit. And it's just ridiculous that anybody would buy this stuff. And it isn't. You can think of hardly nothing on earth that has done more good to the human race than currency, national currencies. They were absolutely required to turn man from a goddamn successful ape into modern successful humans in human civilization. Because it enabled all these convenient exchanges. So if somebody says, I'm going to create something that sort of replaces the national currency, it's like saying I'm going to replace the national air. You know, it's asinine. It isn't even slightly stupid. It's massively stupid. And of course, it's very dangerous. And of course, the governments were totally wrong to permit it. And of course, I'm not proud of my country for allowing this crap, what I call the crypto it's worthless, it's no good, it's crazy, it'll do nothing but harm, it's antisocial to allow it.
Smart guy, obviously, but there are some really smart people that could give you a really good case.
Yeah.
I don't think he could give you a good case because he has no idea how it works.
Not sure he's read the white paper on any of it.
I don't think he knows.
But
I don't think the first page of the Bitcoin Standard or whatever book you want to go to, I don't think he's read the first page. And I mean, that's the most pedestrian viewpoint that I've heard from people for 20 years. They all say the same thing. None of them know anything about it, but they say, that's fine. He's smart.
I think
Other
he's
people are
seen
smart.
stuff before, and this reminds him of patterns. That
Right, exactly.
That's kind of what his concerns are.
You know, what did he and Warren think of tech? How long did they
kicking
and screaming into the new world?
Yeah, but they will.
The internet, all those things.
They will say they're not tech investors. That they're not.
Oh, no. Well, then.
And by the way, when they bought it,
don't opine on things you have no idea about.
But I think they look at some of these deals, particularly the coins that are just made up.
Okay. Well, you're not talking about Bitcoin in that regard, but there's some very smart guys that are maybe a little more tech savvy that. I can give you a list of them, but from Druckenmiller to Tudor Jones, then Andreessen to Peter Thiel
you would have agreed with a lot of things.
Bill Miller
you would have agreed with a lot of things he said yesterday, including California's driving out all wealthy people with the policy.
No, I know, I do. But he's a crotchety old 99-year-old, and I don't expect him to understand Bitcoin.
This video is sponsored by Radiant Capital. In the world of traditional finance, money markets play a key role by offering lenders and borrowers a way to satisfy their short-term financial needs. While the crypto industry requires the same sort of service, the issue is that the capital is too fragmented across all the different chains, requiring multiple transactions and fees to bridge from one chain to another. This is where Radiant Capital comes in. Radiant Capital's goal is to become the very first omni-chain money market where users can deposit any major asset on any major chain, as well as borrow a variety of supported assets across multiple chains. On Radiant, users can deposit and borrow across several chains seamlessly while earning platform fees paid in Bitcoin, ETH, BNB, and stables. The platform is built on Layer 0 and is the #1 native lending platform on Arbitrum, with over $285 million in total value locked up already. In addition, Radiant is in the top 20 daily active users across all Web3 dApps, which is quite an impressive accomplishment for a new crypto project. To ensure robust security measures, Radiant Capital is audited by PeckShield, and Radiant is also working with ImmuneFi to implement a bug bounty program. Radiant's next move will be to launch V2 and deploy on BNB chain, adding more users and value to the platform. Radiant's mission is to bring omni-chain money markets to the crypto industry, removing barriers between chains. If you want to join Radiant in revolutionizing DeFi, learn more by clicking on their URL in the description of this video.
Well, Charlie Munger's an old man like me. We're about the same age, so.
No, wait, Robert, he's like 95.
Well, we're in the same category.
Okay.
But, when I wrote this book here, Who Stole My Pension, my concern here is that the boomers are the biggest generation in history. And when their pensions go, it's going to suck cash out of the stock market. So Charlie would probably still say buy stocks. But the reason I like cryptos, not Bitcoin, is because of blockchain. And blockchain is an accounting system. It's more legitimate than the Fed or the Treasury or Wall Street. So Charlie Munger is in the Fed, Treasury, Wall Street crowd, and the younger generations, millennials and below, are in iPhone crowd. This is the most powerful tool I've ever seen. I still don't know how to use it because I'm an old guy. But this thing here is the most powerful tool I've ever seen in history. And there's more tools coming. But this thing here, this iPhone, I'm on that. I can call anybody in the world like that. It's amazing what can be done. So the younger generation is on this thing while Charlie Munger is on, the Fed, Treasury, and Wall Street.
Colorful, the mainstream media wanted to comment. They didn't ask him about TikTok, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft. They didn't ask him about any of 100 other new technologies. If you want to understand Bitcoin, you reasonably scratch the surface in 10 hours. You start to understand it in 100 hours. I don't think Charlie Munger has spent 100 hours studying Bitcoin. So I think it's kind of unfair to poke him with the question. But I'll state for the record, isn't Berkshire Hathaway a generation behind all technology? Despite the fact that Warren Buffett is best friends with Bill Gates, Warren Buffett never invested in Microsoft, and Microsoft was founded in 1976. And so they never invested in Apple until 40 years later, and then it was a person that worked for them that invested in Apple. And they didn't invest in Google when it came public, and they passed on it every year since. So I think that this many controversy is just because Bitcoin is the fastest growing, most disruptive force in the world right now, objectively speaking. It went from $0 to $1 trillion in 12 years. That makes it the most disruptive technology in your lifetime, in my lifetime. More disruptive than Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google. More disruptive than anything in our lifetime. Maybe if we went back to the automobile and Henry Ford in 1910, we might find something that changed the world in a decade. But not, that doesn't come along often. So all these people are getting poked and asked their opinion. When I'm 97, if I'm still working, if I'm lucky enough to still be alive and still working, if you ask me about the latest, greatest hologram simulation technology startup that's taking the world by storm, that's used by my grandchildren, and I don't quite get it, I wouldn't expect to get it. So isn't Charlie Munger old enough to be your great grandfather, Michelle? Do you go to your great grandfather for investment advice on new technologies? So I like them. I like Warren Buffett. They've been successful, but they haven't been successful technology investors this century. And I would just leave it at that.